So this morning I wake up and I drink milk all the time. I love milk. I'm a milk boy, and I noticed something a little bit about today's milk. I didn't drink a huge portion of it, but I did a little taste test in a little tiny cup, little glass, and I'm tasting it, and I'm like, this milk tastes funny. And the expiration date say like, March 7th. It's like March 5th. So I'm just tasting it and I'm just smelling it. I'm doing all the tests and I'm like, this milk is rotten. So I dumped the whole thing. And then I had some fresh milk for my cinnamon toast crunch today. And I like to feel like that's kind of like this update is expired milk, but it's not even past the expiration date for a lot of people. And hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Yes, the update is live. Surprisingly, I really hope that the portal or barrel works this time, which isn't even listed in the entirety of March. We have to wait until they update the event calendar for April, and then we'll see if it will be available. But we are back. Oh my gosh, this is where I left. Yeah, this is where I left off on. We are back with the update, and yes, it contains a spellment update, and I know everybody in their mama's house is gonna be talking about it. Alright, so over here we can train up for both paths if we want to. We'll be going to our shared bank so we can get that all organized. And also, if you go to... Oh, wait a second. Huh? Rematch trading. Oh, no, here's the UI. Okay, alright. For a second, I thought... Alright. For a second, I thought the UI wasn't here. Let's go to... I guess... Equipment shop? Oh, no, wait, actually, no, not this. Rematch trading. Then let's go to boss rematches. And here it is, the paradox. Oh yeah, I already don't have enough pretzel sticks. It needs 100 pretzel sticks. But then it also needs the warm pretzel, which I'm not sure if there's a transmute for that or if it's like one of those rare harvest situation things. Hopefully not. And then it needs a perfect hematite, which you can just buy in Celestia. Super easy to get. So that's how you make the Aberrant Paradox rematch. Alright, let's check in on some other stuff. Primarily the spellments, because that's pretty much the big thing of this update. Most of the stuff isn't going to come out immediately, just like, the gauntlet that has to have its own little announcement, and of course stuff like the portal apparel, which will also, have to be on top of the whole, whatchamacallit. What is going on in the guild house? Like, why? Why do we got super huge little ghastly and other creatures just like, what is Lark even doing? Alright, let's go over here to the bank. We are going to do what we did last time in test realm. And whatchamacallit? La 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 la. Backpack, shared bank. We'll type in Pigsy. Well, quite honestly, we can get all these spellments out while we're here. Rebirth. Got 70 of those. What else? What else? I mean, is there really anything else? Camp Bandit, maybe? We're just gonna move it all in here. Centaur. Now don't worry, if you didn't reset your spellments ahead of time, that's fine. It's gonna give you that one-time reset, and it can maybe even give you some refund, because remember they talked about those reduced costs, so you might actually be getting a little bit back. But for the most part, you just want to make sure you throw them all in the shared bank, especially primarily if you play on multiple characters. If you don't play on multiple characters, you have really nothing to worry about. And if you're someone like me that just has way too many spellments in general, then you should be fine. But for the most part, Spree Swarm, why not? I actually don't know if I have enough Spree Swarm spellments to get both paths. Alright, let's get this situated. So, top path, For Pigsy, yes, upgrades are permanent. Goodbye, reset button. We don't care. And then we'll get bottom pass. Then we got 50 left over for another wizard, and so we can just throw this away. Okay, we do not need that anymore. And we are not going to upgrade pretty much anymore because it's not worth it. Pigsy spellments are honestly really kind of hard to get, so yeah, we will leave that for something else. Actually, if I wanted to, I could level it up to like tier like 3 or whatever, but no. Just throw that in there. Alright, Sprite Swarm. Oh, here we go. The resetting spells is ending. Press reset to reset progression now and refund spellments, or keep the retaining key updates are enabled until resolved. Reset. Yep, reset. Get it all reset. There we go. And like I said, you don't have to reset. You can just keep the current tier that you're on or not. It's up to you. And then bottom path, which is 50. And then that's it. You got both Sprite Swarms unlocked. That's it. That's all we're going to do. Because I am not wasting any more time on this game. Let's type in Sprite. Wait, where's Sprite? There it is. Sprite! Oh, wait. Totally forgot about Regenerate and stuff like Toilet, which is actually in the shared bank. I have a lot of Regenerate spellments. So some of these spellments might depend on where you get them from. Like, for example, I think you can get Regenerate from, like, Beast Moon. And we already know how much everybody loves Beast Moon. Or at least that's how you get Sprite Swarm. But depending on the type of spellment you need, they will drop from specific places or specific drops, you know? So you'll have to do a little wiki search to just figure out, yes, reset, blah, 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 we don't care, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's do top path, because I do miss the top path of Regenerate. Trust me, it's gonna be like this for me the entire day. So if you're already bored, you can click off the video and log in for yourself and figure it out for yourself. But it's going to be like this the entire day. Alright, let's do top path rebirth. And then do bottom path rebirth just in case I'm ever doing child mode. And that's probably one of the best things about this update. Training the multiple paths, that's just great. So now you have access to both, like, you know, the advanced content mode and then PvE spells. But like I said, if you're someone that just generally doesn't care. Oh, actually, sorry about that. Rotten milk. I wonder, can I actually like max tier this whole thing? I don't think I could. I don't think I would have enough. I think it's only up to spells that have like a tier 5 to it. I don't think that it really works if it's only a tier 4. Let's see. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So it's only for spells that have tier 5. So if it's something like Selenopolis and it just has up tier 4, then you can't do it. And then we'll max out the top tier or top branch. And then if they ever decide to, you know, update that, they can figure that out. Let's go over to the other spells. Let's see what other stuff we got. Grenadier! Can we get rid of all these Grenadier spellments even though I am not going to use them? You know what? Scratch that thought. I might just convert these to like the Shadow Grenadier, but again, I haven't used Grenadier in a minute. Same thing with this. I might just convert these to Shadow. Alright, let's go to Camp Bandit. Let's see, that's 500. We're not doing that. Because that's way too much. We'll get both versions of Camp Bandit, because why not? Cool stuff. Oh, now this one's tricky because it's an off school. This is the off school, so let's see. Let's see what happens if we reset. We'll still have access to the spell, right? Okay, alright. I just want to make sure. Then we wanted to, we can train up all of these if we really wanted to, which honestly I might do. Alright, so What is this new one? This is the new one that they were talking about. Clear shield for a heal over time. Oh, okay. So wait, Fire Elf just becomes like a healing spell? What? That's actually a big base, dude. 333 base? That's actually kind of a huge one. You know what? We might actually max out Fire Elf. That's actually a big overtime for some reason. Okay, we got way too many of these. Now, like I said, if we were to reset our training points, we would have to retrain Fire Elf, even though we would upgrade it with spellments. And remember, we talked about that. So you're actually going to be, in a sense, not able to really train up for most spells. You know, it's the same thing with, for example, Feint. Like, if I wanted to train up Feint, I would have to train all the spells just to get Feint, which is like, you know, all the way up to Vampire. I'm not doing that. That's just way too much work. Just thinking that's a little bit too much. Then we also have Fire Cat, which has 3 paths as well. Good lord. My goodness. Dang, you're gonna extend the damage overtime for 2 rounds? This is kind of gnarly. It's kind of gnarly. What other spells? I mean, we can kind of just keep this one. Are you sure you want to keep your current spells? Once you're current, you will not be able to reset spells in the future, and all upgrades will be permanent. Yeah, I guess so. Reset. Yeah, they kind of, you know, they kind of task you of resetting your points either way. Or not resetting your points, like resetting the spellments. Because again, the whole spellment reset is not coming by anytime soon. Yeah, I have a lot of spells in here. Let's do Centaur. Centaur got 3 paths. Do I have? No, I don't have enough to get like 500. No. I'm not that much of a whiz head. I have a life too. I have a life too. And that includes drinking spoiled milk. I have a life too. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you this. If you haven't drank spoiled milk, you hit rock bottom. I can feel my stomach trying to figure out what I ingested earlier today. My stomach is like, bro, what did you do? Yeah, I could be doing this. I could be doing this all day if I really wanted to. There's some spells in here that are genuinely pretty cool. Like, you got Spinosaur, pretty cool stuff. You may maybe want to go for top path or bottom path. Ironically, I actually use Spinosaur quite a lot, actually. You know, Zan the Bandit, there's that. We have way too many spellments for that. Let's actually max out Zan the Bandit because we actually have a lot of those spellments. Same thing with Grenadier because I want to show you the whole Capstone thing real quick. Yeah, we have 920 Zan the Bandits. That's just ridiculous. So, and I doubt I'm going to be using Zan the Bandit on other, like, schools. So, the 500 I could care less about. So, max upgrade, it's going all the way up to, like, 435, which, again, I don't care much about numbers, but I'm sure people can get on the mathematical side of why it's super duper important. But we're going to fully upgrade it to tier 5. And then you're going to, yep, there you go. Zan the Bandit spell right, and then you get a little badge. Pretty cool stuff. And then you claim the reward. It's going to give you 500 of those spellments. And there you go, 500. So then, for those 500, you can basically max tier the other set. Pretty cool stuff, right? So that's basically what the Capstone badges does. You just get 500 of the same exact spellment. Now, that would be super useful for spells like healing spells. But I don't have like 500 regenerates. I don't have like 500 rebirths, right? I don't have that. So that's why for some of these healing spells, I just go up to tier 2 and that's it. Just because realistically, I'm not going to get that many spellments in general just to get like another like 500. And personally for me, I just don't think I'm at a point in my life where I have the time to do that. Maybe you have the time to do that, but I just do not have the time, and I just overall do not have the resources to do that. But if you do and you have the opportunity to do it and you want to do it, it's there as an option. Remember, you have to get in one of the branches, doesn't matter which one, but you have to get to at least tier 5 once in that spell, and then after that you'll get the little badge. And that's the same thing with the Grenadier. Like, Grenadier, we're basically just gonna get like a free 500. But honestly, I might just turn it into the Darkened Shepherd after we get to 500. So, max that out. Grenadier spell right. Get 500 back. And then let's just assume that you don't even want to get the bottom path overall. Then we could go over to the Darkened Grenadier, which I think is a little bit better. Now, this one only has up to tier 3, so it shouldn't take us that many spellments to convert. Same thing with the Wings of Fate. That would be another upgrade I would be interested in doing, but now that I look at it, it doesn't really upgrade anything besides damage, not the healing. So, they're kind of weird for that. But yeah, let's check that out, and I'll show you how to darken your spellments. It's only for some spells. Obviously, not every spell has shadow magic. We'll go to the Arcanum. We'll go to the Shadow School Teacher, or at least where it used to be. Now there's a portal there. It's kind of empty. And that will basically take us to Darkmoor. Now, I just thought of this just as like a big brain thing that if you don't have access to Darkmoor, I don't think you can really even learn the shadow spells if you don't have a membership or if you don't have a premium access to Darkmoor, which kind of sucks now that I think about it. Unless they made this zone like a free-to-play zone, which I doubt. Let's go over here to Shadow Seraph because she has the life spellments. And we did this on test run, but you go over here, right? It will say darken spellments. And then it will show you all of the spellments that you can darken. So for every 10 spellments that you spend, you can basically get 10 of those darkened spellments. And as you can see here, we have way too many Grenadiers, so we're going to do that right now. Now remember, the darkened spellment paths, or at least the shadow fusions, don't really have up to like tier 5. So you probably won't even be spending a whole lot anyways. So yeah, that takes 150, so let's darken a couple of more before I throw up all over my keyboard, because we're at peak of life where we're drinking rotten milk. Or at least, well, that's the thing, I smelled it first, I put it in a little glass, just like taste test it, and I shouldn't have swallowed. That's the problem. That's such a crazy... So, yo, somebody clip that, make it a YouTube short, bro. I shouldn't have swallowed. I put my tongue on it, and I knew something was off. So now let's go over here to the spell book, right? Let's go over the life. I think we should have enough. Yeah, we have way more than enough. And like I said, this won't give the badge, because it has to be only spells that are tier 5. So if it's like tier 2 only, or if it's like tier 3 only, doesn't work. It has to be all the way up to tier 5. So that is Grenadier. And if we wanted to, we could actually train the bottom fusion as well. Pretty cool stuff, right? Pretty cool. I mean, I probably wouldn't use it though still, because I don't know, I'm not really the biggest fan of the shadow fusions. I mean, I think they're cool to a certain extent though. They can get a little bit obnoxious, especially if you have to fill up your deck with a bunch of shadow fusions or fusion spells in general. It can kind of like, you know, mess up your deck a little bit, but it is cool though. It is a cool concept they did. I love the shadow pack system. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But again, most of these updates are going to be subjective to a lot of players. I know some players that were really upset with the whole Dart Pact and Empower changes. I know a lot of players are going to be upset about this whole spellment situation, which quite honestly, I think it's kind of getting quite annoying. Just accept the fact that we are not getting that reset button anytime soon. And also just accept the fact how spellments will never be 100% like good. Like they will never ever actually, that's actually a minimum stat increase. So it's at 990 base, but then it goes up to like 1k, and then by plus 15. I don't know, that's even worth it. That's what I'm saying about some of these spell upgrades. Like, do you really need that extra little bit of damage, man? Like, you really don't need that much, man. But I know some of y'all are gonna go into the math of it. Grim Grenadier. Wait, what? Oh, this is just for one. So these are in 10s, and then these are in 1s. Oh, okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. Is there anything else? I mean, that's pretty much all I see. Now, we could also try the Scion spells, but only one I have is Scion of Life, and I'm not the biggest fan of Scion of Life. I know Bottom Path, it could be good. I just personally don't use it in my own personal opinion. I'm just not a big brain wizhead like that, but we will upgrade it for the sake of upgrading it. Oh, wait, let me go to the spelling tab. Let's just type in life. Scion of Life. I mean, I don't use the top path, I don't use the bottom path. I don't know, I just don't use them. Let's go over here. So yeah, this is all the way up to tier 5. So if we wanted to do that, we didn't need like 500 to get the Capstone, so we're not doing that. But it will still be cool though, just to have both versions of Scion of Life so that you can use them whenever you want, you know? So there you go, we have an unlocked. That could be the same thing about most of these other spells will reset. This, you know, this got 3 paths. I mean, this is just ridiculous at this point. I know some of the Vim spells I do not have a lot of, unfortunately. That's just 50, but I think I only have like 43 Vim spellments. What else? There's a lot of spells that we could upgrade for the sake of upgrading, but I think I'm gonna do the rest off camera because, you know, like I said, I could be here all day. I could be doing this for all the lore spells that I specifically have. But yeah, for the most part, decent update. We'll see how the reception, or we'll see how players feel about it, which I would most likely assume it will probably be negative, as per usual. That's just how the community rolls. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Make sure to check it out. Get your spellments in order. And yeah, until then, wait, I gotta flex, bro. I gotta flex the gear, bro. Hold up. Hold up. I only need like, listen, I only need like 200 like more crowns to get like the final stitch. I've just been doing trivia because sadly the earn crowns feature doesn't really work a lot. But yeah, look at the, look at the fit, bro. Look at it. Look at it. I love it. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful update day. And yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out.